All right, welcome back to the Farm Kenya show. Let's talk matters to do with conservation agriculture. As climate change and its effects become more visible by the day, and especially in the agricultural sector, there's concerted effort to adopt alternative ways of production. And one of these ways is conservation agriculture, where farmers are able to utilize and maximize minimum tillage, utilization of water and whatnot. The big question is, why are farmers not adopting these new ways? What are the barriers and what are the consequences if at all, especially smallholder farmers adopt conservation agriculture? Take a look.
In the heart of Kenya, under the watchful eye of Mount Kenya, a farming revolution is taking root. Conservation agriculture is transforming the landscape, offering a sustainable solution to challenges faced by farmers in the region. In this video, we are going to see and learn how several farmers around the region have incorporated this system of farming, its benefits and importance. But first, what is conservation agriculture? The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations describes conservation agriculture as a farming system that promotes minimal soil disturbance, maintenance of permanent soil cover, and diversification of plant species. There are three basic principles involved in conservation agriculture. These are minimum mechanical soil disturbance, permanent soil organic cover, and species diversification. Here are Professor Faris Ragwa and Dr. Dennis Minor from Karatina University.
Conservation agriculture is a technology that is basically applied on agricultural land to conserve the agricultural resource. Basically, we are talking about the water, the water and the soil, which is the medium for agricultural production. So when the term is applied, conservation agriculture basically is to ensure that the soil, which is the medium for crop production, is conserved and protected to be able to support crop production.
What I understand with conservation agriculture is basically the strategies that are taken on the production side of farming, so that the environment is also well taken care of. Definitely the farmer is key because he's the one who is utilizing the resource to do production. And therefore, any input to the farmer is actually a gain towards conservation agriculture empowerment in this country and even globally. Because the farmer is the cog, is the wheel, is the driver of the system. So if you ignore the farmer, there is no conservation agriculture.
Kenya's economy is heavily reliant on agriculture, but if not practiced sustainably, agriculture can have a toll on the environment, produce greenhouse gases, and contribute to climate change. However, sustainable farming methods can do the opposite, increase reliance to climate change, protect biodiversity, and sustainably use natural resources. Our experts from Karatina University mentioned that many small-scale farmers in the country have been practicing conservation agriculture for a long time, albeit in subtle ways. Let's dive deeper about the three main principles of this technology mentioned earlier in this video.
For the farmer has some idea, because when you visit farmers, you'll find the farmers are keeping some mulch, you find the farmers are doing cover cropping, the farmers are still doing some cut-offs for conservation of the soil. So somehow the farmer has an idea. Unfortunately, it requires to be well presented to the farmer so that the farmer is now able to take the whole bracket of CA, of conservation agriculture. Otherwise, the farmer has an idea, and I know maybe even in experience, and even in my experience when I interact with the farmers, but the problem is that those efforts are disjointed. So what now as a university and even as experts we are trying now to bring the farmers this knowledge as a package.
To some farmers, it's a new technology, but it's a technology that has been there for about the last 15 years or so. It's only that it has not really gotten down to all the farmers or the communities that might require it. Specifically, we are talking about the arid and semi-arid areas of this country, whereby the biggest challenge to agricultural production is water availability. So when we talk about minimum disturbance of the soil, is because we want to maintain the soil in its natural form, right? Because the more we continue to plow the soil, cultivate the soil, that disturbance interferes with very important properties of the soil, including what we refer to as soil structure, that are very important in uptake of the water from rainfall, as well as retaining that water within the soil. Mostly we recommend zero disturbance, but some situations there may be minimum disturbance that is required. The other principle of permanent soil cover is because we don't want to expose the soil to the elements of weather. And here the elements of weather, we are talking about the energy from the sun. We are also concerned about elements like rainfall, because if the soil is exposed, then it is more likely to, for example, get eroded. Any water that gets into the soil, especially in the arid and semi-arid areas, we want that water to remain there to be able to be of benefit to the crop. So by covering the soil, we are reducing the loss of water from the soil through evaporation. One is maintaining the crop residue on the farm. Once the crop has been harvested, the crop residue is left there, and therefore it acts as a mulch. Cover crops is any secondary crop, because like if you're talking about the farmer intends primarily to grow maize, then maize is the primary crop. Then the cover crop is anything that comes in between for the purpose of making sure that there are no open spaces of soil between maybe the rows of the maize. We use a cover crop that will not compete unnecessarily with the primary crop, and also which has some benefits to the soil. And that is why we go for crops that we call leguminous crops. Mixed cropping is whereby you have different varieties of crops one growing alongside another. And this is also important. One, if you have maize, which is just cereal crop, taking a lot of nutrients from the soil, especially nitrogen, and then in addition to that crop, you have a crop like beans, which is a legume. It's able to fix nitrogen. You see the two assist each other. And this way, we are having a better utilization of the water and the nutrients resources in the soil. Then the other one is what we call crop rotation. This is whereby we come up with a sequence. In one season, we plant a certain crop belonging to a certain family of plants. The following season, we plant a different crop belonging to a different family.
Away from the experts, let us now take a look at how different farmers are practicing conservation agriculture and the benefits it has brought to their farms. In the foothills of Mount Kilimambogo, meet Don Bosco Keremi, a mixed crop farmer. He grows an array of different crops including fruits, herbs and spices, as well as keeping fish and livestock.
Conservation agriculture is intentional farming. You intend of where you want this crop to grow, you put in the food and you leave the rest of the microbial life to rest. That is one of the entry point of not disturbing the soil. The other entry point is having the soil covered, because just like me, on this sun, if I don't have some clothing, I'll be dehydrated. All my nutrients will get out. I'll be thirsty. So the same thing is happening to the soil, and the soil is alive and it has a lot of microorganisms. So it's quite I think that with this climate change, with this, we hear a lot in the media, everything is being carried by this runoff. But the problem is we cut our trees, we didn't conserve. When I was growing up, I remember the stories I get is when the coffee guys came to see the coffee, they used to use a stick to see how much the mulch is. So the soils were covered by either dry matter or living mulch. As you can see on this whole area, getting enough biomass to do the mulching in these arid, semi-arid areas where the microorganisms like the termites are too many. They really digest because the soils are not rich in fertility or in organic matter. So it's quite some trouble. So while it's a challenge to have a lot of the mulch, it's advisable in conservation agriculture. Just leave the live mulch. It helps a lot to control the microclimate. The difference between the soil where there isn't enough or no mulch the temperatures are too high. But immediately there is a mulch or some microclimate, the temperatures reduce. So you control the loss of nutrients and moisture in the soil.
Keremi practices conservation agriculture. But how then do you differentiate live mulching and weed infestation? Keremi explains.
The first thing, weed is an unwanted plant. So the first thing is the part that they don't know, there's not enough awareness to know the value out of all this biodiversity that is in the soil. And that is the first entry point. And this was messed up during the Green Revolution, where a lot of this indigenous knowledge of conserving our farming was lost in this search of having more productivity, which is now very impacting us on a negative way. So this farm is not weedful. It is very rich in biodiversity. If I took 1 or 2 steps behind, this is Sesbania sesban. In the long term, it is a very good long tree rich in firewood or biomass. It is also currently feeding my soil with nitrogen. So this is very beneficial. As I mentioned, this is Mexican marigold. It is really helping me keep away the pests and even control the nematodes in the soil and even giving a very good feel of smell in the farm. We have here the Tithonia. Tithonia is a very good plant rich in nitrogen. So if I take this Tithonia and use it in my compost, I won't look for any inputs from outside there. I'll make my own compost that is very rich from nitrogen.
The big question now is, can conservation agriculture be incorporated in the larger conventional farms that rely on chemicals to fight pests and weeds?
So for the big production areas where controlling of the live mulch is quite an issue, we will have all that live mulch cut, and you have the covering of the biomass on top of the soil, which still gives the same effect of controlling the moisture, giving a good microbial life. Remember, once you have your soil covered, a whole acre, the macro life, the likes of all those insects, it gives approximately 7 tons of manure out of the exoskeletons, their excretion, out of all that they eat. So in the large farms, it is good, and it is a very good approach. Why? They're really doing a lot of production, and once they embrace the conservation agriculture, it gives a lot of impact. Not only the socio-economic impact, but also specifically on the environmental and health impact of their output, because their products will be much more safer. Because once you have your soil bare, you'll have a lot of pests and diseases in the farm, which you need a lot of inputs, which later on the product has a lot of inputs.
From Kilimambogo, we head to Laikipia County, which is much drier, to meet another conservation agriculture enthusiast, Peter Gedenji. His farm could literally be described as an oasis in the middle of the semi-arid surroundings. The variety of crops here is truly remarkable.
Ukulima ambaye tunalima hapa ni ukulima unakuaga na ugumu kwa sababu ni mahali ambapo hakuna maji. Na maji inapatikana kwa wakati mmoja wakati mwingine. Na maji ikiisha, ikiwa hauna storage, wewe mimea yako yote ambayo ulikuwa unapanda inakauka yote. Kwa sababu ni mahali ya jua. Na kile nilionelea nikaona ni vizuri kulingana na vile masomo ambayo nimesoma niwe nikifanya mixed farming. Sababu nikipanda mahindi jua ikuwe na dry, sasa utakuta ya kwamba hiyo mahindi yote imepotea. Lakini ukipanda, tuseme upande maharagwe, upande viazi, upande mihogo, upande hata matunda, hiyo inabidi ya kwamba hii ikipotea itasimamiwa na hii ingine.
Peterson spent the majority of his career in Nairobi. After retiring, he returned home with a passion for growing his own food and earning some income from the surplus produce.
Sasa hapo ningekuwa nikijua, isipokuwa hauanzi, ningekuwa nikijua ningeanza ukulima. Kwa sababu ile miaka ambayo nimekaa Nairobi, nimekaa zaidi ya miaka 10 na hapa sijamaliza miaka ngapi? Miaka 6. Lakini sasa naona ya kwamba nimetengeneza mambo ya kesho. Lakini kule Nairobi kulikuwa mambo ya kusomesha watoto. Nilipoenda kwa masomo, nilisema ya kwamba basi wacha nami nikuje hapa nifanye. Kwa sababu kile kinatufuja moyo ni ukisoma unakuja unakaa. Lakini ukichaa soma na uje ufanye hiyo mambo saa hiyo utaona benefit yake.
In Embu County, Nancy Wanja has seen the benefits of conservation agriculture. She narrates how she was doing her farming before receiving the training.
Nikuwa tu nikilima nikipanda mahindi na limia magugu na lima na weka tu fertilizer lakini ile ndogo, na wakati wa kuspray pest saa nyingine na spray dawa ile ilikuwa tu kama tuanzi hivi na ilikuwa inatakikana mara. Nilikuwa tu nimefinyika kiasi ya kuwa singe, sababu mazao ilikuwa ndogo, si kupata mahindi yenye ningekuwa na mazao yenye ningekuwa nauza ndio ini boost kulima vizuri. Sasa tu ni kawaida ni kusema nilikuwa nalima ya kunitosha tu, si eti inaweza ni expand kinini.
Nancy is now wiser, happier and making a profit of her farm.
Mmea hii inanisaidia mimi mkulima, inasaidia shamba na inasaidia mfugo. Nikikatia hapa hiyo kitu ni ya mfugo mpaka hapa mpaka hapa sasa ni mfugo inasaidika. Mimi hapa nasaidika na hii mbegu. Alafu kutoka hapa mpaka hapa na ikata narudisha. Haya, sasa hiyo na ng'ombe hiyo nayo inanisaidia sana na mborea.
Still in Embu County, Charles Njero illustrates the use of a subsoiler, reaper and jump planter for minimal soil disturbance.
Hii kifaa tunakiita subsoiler. Subsoiler ni ya kuondoa hardpan. Kwa sababu pale mbeleni during the conversation type of farming ilikuwa inatengeneza hardpan. Kwa sababu mahali hiyo jembe ilikuwa inafika ilikuwa imetengeneza the surface yenye ambayo sasa haikuwa inawezesha maji kupenya ndani. Sasa tulikuwa tunakujanga na subsoiler ambayo inakuja inatengeneza hiyo mtalo, alafu kwa hiyo mtaro ukitengeneza kwa sababu inakuwa nyembamba. Kwa hivyo unakuja na kifaa kingine ambayo sasa ni a bit wider. Inakuja ina widen that furrow ambayo tunaitanga reaper. Sasa ndio iweze kuaccommodate maji kwa ile mtalo. Kwa hivyo inakuwa na maji mingi. Juu hata kama mvua imeenda for about 2 weeks, hiyo mmea ambayo iko katika hiyo furrow haiwezi ikakauka. Hiyo ndio sasa tunasemanga sasa hiyo that is a reaper now. Hiyo faru. Na ukiangalia hiyo faru yenyewe hii reaper inaingia chini kabisa. Kuna hii kivaa, hii ndio tunaita jump planter. Na hii jump planter inakuanga very easy. Pande moja inakuwa ya fertilizer, hii nyingine inakuanga ya mbegu. Hata ukiangalia nilikuwa napanda. Si ati ilikuwa inafanya kazi. Unaangalia pande hii iko na maharagwe na mahindi. Na ukumbuke sasa hivi kuna mahindi na fertilizer.
This one really assisted the farmers because you see when you practice conservation agriculture, you cut the cost of production by almost 50%, and also using the other principles now, that is soil cover, using soil rotation, and also the aspect of minimum tillage. These are really helped the farmers that cost of production, and also using now what we call regenerative agriculture. We have been able to reclaim ourselves that had been eroded, and also that had lost fertility for quite a long time.
In the high-altitude region of Nyeri County, we meet Robert Muremi of Horera Tea. He specializes in purple tea and has adopted conservation agriculture practices after training at Karatina University.
Dr. Maina in charge of tea there, who told me, well, to be able to conserve that tea well, get banana stems, chop them up, spread them. By so doing, you will be conserving the soil. just like any other manure. Even where I have not pruned, I am going to spread it there so that the soil is conserved. The nutrients in the soil are maintained. In fact, I invited the Kangaita Tea Research. They came here and they took my soil, so I know what my soil requires.
John Kamande Ngaruya, commonly known as Mr. Organic, hails from Murang'a County. He explains to us on the several techniques they use to conserve the soil.
In our own plantation here, which is avocado trees, we know that an avocado tree needs water each and every time. All what we need to know is it doesn't need a lot of water. It just needs a little water for maybe a length of months or a length of time. So what we are normally doing at Workers Organic Demonstration Farm, the bag you can see here has what we call manure in it. And the other one here, the same thing. And then we have what we are calling as the mulching. The moment I put water around this place here, just like I'm doing, this one is a banana trunk, and the moment I'm watering it, it presses the manure down there, and then the water trickles down up to where now we have the mulching. And when it gets to the mulching, it goes around that mulching all around it. And what I'm doing now here, I'm doing what is known as water conservation. So when the avocado gets the water from where we are now, I put this bag where the canopy is, because where the canopy is where the roots of the avocado are. And these are the roots that feed the tree itself.
We hope this video has been informative and that you now have a better understanding of conservation agriculture, how to implement it, and the benefits it offers. And to just recap, the three principles are minimum soil disturbance, which involves reducing tillage or avoiding it altogether to maintain soil structure, enhance water retention, and protect the soil's natural biodiversity. Permanent soil cover is where we keep the soil covered with organic materials like crop residues or cover crops to help protect against soil erosion, retain moisture, and suppress weeds. Diverse crop rotations that entail implementing a variety of crops in a planned sequence, improving soil fertility, disrupting pest cycles, and enhancing the overall resilience of the farming system.
Well, that's all we had for you on the Farm Kenya show. Thank you very much for being part of this journey. I'm Noki Kimboy. Enjoy the rest of your viewing and keep it KTN.